welcome to our Morning Throners podcast. I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glenn.
And I'm Kyle. We're the fucking Morning Throners.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Morning Throners podcast. And we're here talking Sansa 3, baby. Only the third one, thank God. But
It's a good one, though.
Yeah, we get some Sansa Arya action, a little bit of Ned, a lot of girl talk, which is fine. You know, I know we got some girl viewers, and that's cool. It takes you back to, sipping the tea, as Sophie Turner would say. Sometimes you gotta sip the tea with your best friend. We do it
And
too,
that's the tea.
as guys.
We sip the beer during the podcast.
And that's the tea. But
Kyle, what do you think about it?
The chapter?
Yeah.
It was words.
Yeah,
it was words.
It was mostly words. No, it's pretty good. I was just giving you a hard time.
A bunch of words put together.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. I mean, so it was an interesting way to kind of set up the whole departure from a unique perspective.
What departure? From King's Landing?
Did you read the chapter?
Yeah. How they're leaving King's Landing.
No, they're going to fight the mountain, man.
Well, that happened in last chapter with Ned.
The mountain man.
Yeah, and they're actually getting ready.
Oh, gotcha.
Like,
So
this
you're
is
saying,
the
like,
mounting of
watching
the
them leave
armies.
and whatnot?
Sans, because she watches them leave through the window.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Cool.
It was an interesting way to get that point in there. That was my opinion, at least. That's why I thought he wrote it like this.
Well, the beginning of the
interesting
chapter is
stuff
like
happens,
right
so.
after the courtroom.
Do you think it's
or
like that
whatever,
because
the throne room,
Sansa?
right?
Hold on. Do you think you feel like that way because Sansa's like all about the storybook tales and whatnot, and
Yeah, she kind of like paints it like a book, like a beginning of the story as she thinks of everything. Yeah, Glow. This to your answer. This is the same day.
Yeah.
So because she was at court, but her friend Jean wasn't. So that's where it starts off. Is her and Jean
you
Poole
think it's
talking
that
about
first night there, like that same
Yes.
night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they shared a cold supper by lamplight because of Ned took it in the room because it was so late by the
He was
time he
talking
left.
to people. Yeah.
You think it's Jean and not Jane?
Jean Poole.
It's Jane Poole, bro. No way.
I think it's Jean too. The Game of Thrones name.
Game of Thrones name. Jean Poole. It's like a Jean Poole.
But I think it's like Jane.
I think it's Jane.
Whatever. It
I
doesn't
think
matter.
Gene Pool makes sense.
Jane
it would be
Poole.
funnier.
Jean Poole. I like Jean Poole.
Carpool.
Carp.
Swimming.
They
Is
own
swimming her uncle?
Yeah, her
Swimming.
uncle swimming. We made this joke already.
So, like we said, we start with
been a while.
Sansa eating a cold dinner with Jean Poole because of, I guess, kind of how long the day went down at court, and then because Ned didn't want to be with them because he had business to attend to.
Yeah, so Ned's talking with Theon Poole, her dad, right? Who's his steward. Harwin, who's the master, his door guard guy, and then Alan, who's the new master of guards and Story's gone. But we hear later that Alan leaves with
Barrack.
Barrack.
He's like the head of the Stark brigade, I would say, right?
So who's gonna be the new master of guard now?
I mean, come on. There's been so many. It's like the defense against the dark arts position at Hogwarts. It just doesn't last.
It's just a rotating door.
So you're saying that Alan's going to die then?
No, I'm just saying,
Well, I just mean, at
he
least in the
had it
chapter.
for like a week, and now he had to go off, so they had to name somebody else.
The post keeps getting vacated. I got you. Yeah.
It's just it's not the post that you want.
So what's the main argument what's the main thing that Sansa and Jean are talking about?
Well, initially, it's
Loris.
Who
Yeah,
gets
Sir
to
Loris.
go bring the king's justice?
Yeah, Sansa is upset with her father that he didn't choose Loris.
Because he's so pretty.
And what's weird is it's a little bit later, but she says she doesn't like that he sent Barrack because Barrack's too old and he's 22.
Yeah, and he's 22.
only 22. It's like, what? Are you serious?
Like he has to be younger than the Hound, right? Or the
He
Mountain.
was. No, so that
100%.
that had nothing to do with it. It was why she didn't think he was so handsome. It's because he's awfully old.
Which
Yeah.
is like
Yeah,
how
okay,
that's the
okay,
same
okay.
thing.
you think Barrack would be married by this point as a
22-year-old, like noble.
22.
Yeah, I agree
Jane's
with that.
into him.
Jane wants to marry
Jane's
him.
into him. Good looking cat. He's just a little old. I mean, it's not like he has like gray hair or anything. Like, what's he have? Like a little, like
He's
widow's
probably
peak?
balding.
Yeah, he might be
Well,
balding.
we're all not
I started
glow
balding
at
by then.
22.
So what's interesting is stepping back a second is when Sansa tells, or maybe she thinks about it, that when she's leaving the throne room right after court, she's bitching to Septa about how she was upset Loras didn't get chosen, but Littlefinger overheard. So after he tells Septa that,
he makes a snide comment. Well, what does Sansa say? Like,
so hold on.
I
got it right here. Septa basically.
Way ahead, though.
No, this is pretty early. Septa basically tells her like, don't question your Lord Father's decisions. And then the quote is, "Oh, I don't know, Septa. Some of her Lord's Father's decision could do with a bit of questioning. The young lady is as wise as she is lovely." He made a sweeping bow to Sansa, so deep she was not quite sure if she had being complimented or mocked. Septa Mordane had been very upset to realize Lord Baelish overheard them. "The girl is just talking, my lord," she said. "Foolish chatter. She meant nothing by the comment." Lord Baelish stroked his pointy beard and said, "Nothing? Tell me, child, why would you have sent Sir Loras?" Sansa had no choice but to explain about heroes and monsters. The king's counselor smiled. "Well, those are not the reasons I'd have given, but..." He touched her cheek, his thumb lightly tracing the line of her cheekbone. "Life's not a song, sweetling. You may learn that one day to your sorrow." Is that what you were talking about, Jeff?
Yeah, and there was also another kind of snide remark he makes. He's like, "That's not why I would pick him."
Yeah, I read. Just read that.
But that's the point that I wanted to make is like, so he had a thing of why he would pick him too. That's just.
It's probably along the lines of what Varys told.
Yeah, Varys was
Ned.
saying at the end of the last chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you should
Kyle,
have them as.
That's
teammates.
what I thought too, Glo. Do you remember what he said, Kyle?
Yeah, we need them on our side because they're the second richest family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He basically said if you're against the Lannisters, Tyrells would be good friends.
But my thinking is that he was hoping he would die. That was what I was thinking.
You thought Varys thought that, or you thought Littlefinger?
No, I thought
that?
Littlefinger would send him to his death.
Why would that help Littlefinger?
Because Littlefinger's got schemes, man.
Okay.
He's a Lannister fan.
Yeah. I don't know if his
for schemes yet to be untold.
Well, I mean, it could be a Lannister like on their side, and so if you're trying to get that family out of the fight.
Oh yeah, send the 16-year-old after the biggest fucking dude in the realm.
There is other
if you
Tyrell
watched him chop off a horse's head.
Yeah. What would you say, Jeff?
There are other Tyrell sons.
No, I know, but I mean, you're taking out the most prominent one.
No. I think he's actually the youngest.
But he's the one winning fucking tournaments.
Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but he's a good jouster. His other brothers are way better fighters.
Okay.
At least one of his other brothers is a way better fighter.
What a spoiled dude. Jesus.
Sorry. So then Jean says that Ned should have sent Ilyn. Before she even mentions Beric, she actually says Ilyn because he's the king's justice. And what's Sansa's thoughts on Ilyn?
He's
ugly.
Something dead crawls on her skin or something like that.
She feels like there's like something dead creeping over her when he looks at her. It's like
it feels like when I watched Glow play Resident Evil.
You never watched
it?
Yeah, but alright, so it's more like when I had the goggles on playing Resident Evil because that was the scariest moment of my life.
Yeah, that's just scary. They're talking about virtual reality Resident Evil because that shit creeps you the fuck out.
It's fun though.
I disagree.
So then they talk about Beric like we were saying. And Sansa thinks Jean's being stupid because she's talking about how she like kind of has a crush on Beric, and she's like, "You're a steward's daughter. Like you would never be able to marry."
She doesn't.
Somebody.
I feel like she doesn't tell her that though. That's pretty.
No, she thinks.
No,
it.
she thinks it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, no, Beric would never look at you that way. So she changed the conversation, and she tells Jean that she had a dream of Joffrey, but it wasn't really a dream, right?
It was just her hopes.
It was just her like hopes, but she says it as a dream to like because dreams are supposed to be prophetic or something. So she says that she had a dream that Joffrey he was the one that killed the White Hart, like the special magical deer that they're all looking for, right? And Jean, like, I don't have this exactly, but Jean's like, oh, did he like walk up and touch it on the head? Because I guess like in the stories,
and all the dreams, that's what people do is just touch it.
And in the stories, like the hero never kills the magical creature; they just touch it. But Sansa's like, nah, Joffrey shot it. I know Joffrey likes killing animals. So she
shot it with a gold arrow.
Shot it with a golden arrow, yeah. And she kind of is pissed off, or she's thinking she's like upset at Ned. I guess we never really got this, but she feels like Ned's blaming Joffrey somewhat for what happened with Jaime. Do you guys get that?
That's what she said there.
She said it's unfair that he's blaming Joffrey, but I was like, it doesn't seem to me anytime we've ever got a Ned chapter that he's doing that.
Where do you see that?
Well, I think Joffrey has just told her that he's bad news, and that's probably why she thinks he's blaming Joff for Jaime's attack. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming from Joffrey, not from Ned, kind of.
Yeah, like Joffrey's just a piece of shit. He's telling her that, and she thinks it's just because of Jaime.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think a lot of it also stems just from blaming the whole family for him getting jumped, kind of thing. But
yeah.
So he says he liked hunting, especially the killing part. Only animals, though. Sansa was certain her prince had no part in murdering Jory and those other poor men that had been his wicked uncle, the Kingslayer. She knew her father was still angry about that, like about the situation as a whole, is the way I read that. But it wasn't fair to blame Joff, like meaning you can't hold him accountable for his family's actions, I guess is what she's trying to say.
Yeah,
yeah.
But that's how I read it. You're right. I mean, you could be right too. He could be.
Yeah, maybe
I'm saying it's possible he did that off screen.
That would be like blaming her for something that Arya had done. So like you can't blame the whole family for one bad sibling or.
Yeah, that's what I took it to. Just because like I was just wondering because we never actually heard Ned blame Joffrey for any of this, but maybe he's blaming the entire family or something.
I mean, he doesn't. He obviously doesn't like Joffrey at the end of this.
Yeah, for sure. So after Sansa says that it's like blaming her for something Arya did, Jean says that she saw Arya recently walking on her hands in the stables, and she's like, "What was she doing?" And
like, who the fuck would even want to be in the stables?
Like, I
don't even walk in there when I need to ride a horse.
I get Hodor to bring me my horse to me or whatever.
Meet me in the court, dude. I'm not going in that shithole.
So then Sansa starts talking whatever else happened at court. Remember she said she only points out two things.
She kind of bored the shit out of Jean too. Like,
yeah.
There probably wasn't, like, she was like, oh, court was so much fun today, and she had nothing good to say about it.
So two other things she points out besides the Loras thing.
Two Dornishmen arrive.
And
they want to be in the king's service?
Be in the king's service, yeah. So the only, Jeff and I were talking about this beforehand. We only really hear about two Dornish people up to this point. One is Aaron Santagar, who's the master of arms. He's already in the king's service. The only other one we hear is the guy who won the archery in the tournament. And Ned like sent a guy to like, hey, do you want to be in my service? And the guy was really drunk at the time and was like, nah, fuck you. Fuck the hand or whatever. So I'm thinking this might be him. Like maybe he drank away all his winnings from the archery thing and now he's like, I'll join. But I don't know who else it would be.
What is the Dorn? I know we talked about it, obviously.
It's just part of the Seven Kingdoms.
The southernmost part, yeah.
Yeah, southernmost part.
But they're kind of like separated from all the rest of the fighting and all that infighting and stuff, right? It's not as bad. Or is that wrong?
You're kind of right that like they're
kind of more like Switzerland, kind of,
sure.
where they're there, they're kind of powerful, but they don't really get involved. And
they kind of stay out of most of the Seven Kingdoms stuff. It seems like
they have different views on a lot of.
Yeah, they're way more progressive. Like they believe like they have way more thoughts on like women's rights and stuff like that. They don't get bastards. They don't get bastards as low as everybody else. Just a bit of history. When Aegon conquered the Seven Kingdoms, Dorne went unconquered like for over 100 years. So like they withstood they were the one that like was kind of a separate kingdom for the longest. They're still in the Seven Kingdoms, but they're kind of separate, more separate than the rest, I guess.
And they're also not involved in the court right now. Like
there's really like nobody. Yeah, there's really like nobody from King's Landing in Dorne that we've heard of at least. The only one we know is the Master of Arms Aaron Santagar. So yeah, then they get bored and they're like, hey, do you think there's any lemon cakes in the kitchen? And then they go down and there's no lemon cakes, but there's like a pie, and then they eat on the steps gossiping and they feel wicked, and then they go to bed, right?
Yep.
Or she goes to bed. And then Kyle, this is the part that you're talking about, the departure.
Yeah, so I think it kind of, not to go back to the beginning, but I think that whole first section kind of sets up this fairy tale life. It's her getting wrapped up in the storybook side of everything, like, and that's, I think she's kind of overlooking a lot of the obvious stuff that Joffrey is like a part of, and how awful he really is and all that stuff, because she's just wrapped up in this fairy tale of like, my life is going to be crazy. Yeah, and I'm going to be the queen, and everything's going to be so pretty.
She's missing a lot of red flags.
I don't even think just the first half of this chapter. I think basically every Sansa chapter.
So now we're getting to like Lord Beric and stuff. I know, but I mean, I guess.
Gotcha.
The whole story of her and Joffrey, and like, because it sounds like she actually likes Loras more to me, but then she like kind of fakes herself out, or like talks herself into Joffrey.
Yeah, convinces herself that.
I think you're right.
Being queen is the
She
best.
pictures herself as a character in a story, which
Yeah.
good on you, Sansa. You are a character in a story.
Yeah.
I mean, I think to that point, I think she, like, I feel like
Makes
Loras
sense,
is just
you are.
better looking than Joffrey, maybe. But then again, they've said like she's talked very highly of Joffrey's look, so I don't
think
like.
either
I
of them
feel
bad
like
looking.
she's just as happy to be in
Now Jeff wants to
Joffrey's
bang
story.
Joffrey? Like, what the fuck?
It's not what I was getting at, but you can say that. What I was saying was she's just as happy to be in Joffrey's storybook as Loras is at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Jeff. But I think almost backwards. I think that she would be happy with having either Loras or Joffrey in her story. Right? She doesn't care about their stories. I think she's more self-centered. Like, I'll take either prince. Or I guess there's only one that's a prince, but I think she'd be happy with either. She sees her life playing out as a story, which is like what Littlefinger said. Like, life isn't like a story most of the time. So yeah, she goes to bed and like paint the picture of what she sees in the morning, Kyle.
Well, no, that was at night, I thought.
No, she wakes up right before the dawn to watch them ride out because Beric was supposed to ride out at dawn.
Oh, yeah, you're right. First light and corrupt sleepily to her window. I just read sleepily, and I thought it was at night. Yeah, so she's looking out, and she's seeing the bannermen out front by the gate, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And like all the lights coming through, and it's like this perfect setting, and
They
it's
have
this
the
beautiful
banners,
scene.
Hundreds of
Yeah,
Knights.
and like the King's banner, and then Ned's banner, as well as Beric's banner, and
There's a comment she makes that kind of pisses me off, and I think it kind of goes along with her like storybook life. It has to do with Alan.
She was like proud that he's becoming a knight, or
She's like-
no, he's handsomer than Jory.
She's
so
handsomer
that's,
than. Well, yeah,
she
but
likes it better.
I think it's because he's going to be a knight. Like Jory didn't want to be a knight, but Alan's going to be a knight, and stories are about knights. Not. It doesn't matter if you're a good sword fighter. If you're not a fucking knight, you're not going to make it into a story. I think that's kind of Sansa's thought.
It's kind of
like,
weird that you could be like.
She's like, he was so proud of him because he was going to be a knight one day. Blah 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 blah.
How could you be the head of the guard though without being a knight?
I don't.
Like
So
how-
Alan's not even a knight now. We haven't heard of a single knight in Winterfell except for Ned.
I mean, that's weird that you could be going and leading a war per se. Like you're gonna be what? If say the North went to war,
Well-
he's gonna be a fucking captain or.
yeah,
So,
he's gonna be up there for sure.
I think it's probably harder in the North because we haven't heard of many knights in the North. And how do you become a knight?
Get
Someone has
knighted
to
by a
knight.
knight.
Any knight can make a knight. So if there's a knight in the North, if there's a few knights in the North, then you'd expect a few more of the next generation or whatever. But it seems like Ned is the only one we hear of. So like the only knights that they're gonna be are being made by Ned, or I guess other families, right? Maybe other families have some. But yeah, I'm not sure.
So this is going to make me sound dumb, but I don't remember Jory not wanting to be a knight.
They don't say he didn't want to be a knight, but I think Sansa and Arya both separately say like, oh, Alan was like trying to become one, and nobody ever says anything about that about Jory. So I don't know. That was my thought on it. But yeah, it kind of pissed me off. Like Jory just died, and Sansa's right now comparing him to somebody else and
It
saying that
goes
he's
back
worse.
to the whole Loras versus Beric thing, and just she wants the most handsome guy possible to be filling these roles.
Yeah, because it
And
makes
so
the
you're
story
right.
better.
It's very disrespectful, and I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that's her storybook vision of it all. Is it should be the most beautiful person to be doing everything because we want to remember the pretty people before we want to remember anybody else. Or it'll make for a better song if he was beautiful versus
A gallant, beautiful
fucked up.
knight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
We're on the same page. It just pissed me off because I
Yeah,
like Jory. He
rightfully
seemed like
so.
a nice dude. Yeah. So she starts walking around the tower and she feels like it's empty now because 20 men are gone. And before Ned, we talked about this last time. Ned gave 50 men to Janos Slynt to help with like the city watch because of all the tournament shit. And this makes me think they didn't get those men back yet. Because if Sansa thinks that these 20 men make the tower feel empty, then like wouldn't she be used to that already? Because 50 men were gone already. Like it would be more full now than before.
I mean, you could also be reading too much into that.
I could. You're right.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they got him back.
Okay.
And also,
I
they're
think so,
probably.
too. I thought so too until I read this because like if 50 men are gone for the tournament, then she's dealing with 30 more people than there are now for most of the time in King's Landing so far. Maybe not most. I don't know how long they.
They've
Well,
definitely.
I still
they've
think when they
definitely
were
been sent
working
all
for
over
the City
place.
Watch that they were like coming back to the fucking castle at night and shit
Yeah.
eat,
so they've
grub.
only been in King's Landing for about 3 months.
And Ned's been tossing his guard all over the place. So
All
who
over the
knows
place
how
for
many
about 7
actually...
months, yeah.
We talked about that last time. Is how many people does Ned actually have?
Yeah. So they're at breakfast. It's just Septa, Sansa, and Arya, I think.
Yeah.
And they were actually kind of getting along, Arya and Sansa, at the beginning, I guess. And Sansa's kind of telling Arya about what happened at court because she was in the stables or whatever doing her Arya thing. So she's like, "Oh yeah, Barrack's going after the mountain, blah blah blah." And then Sansa asks Septa, like, "Oh, Jane and I were talking about this. Like, is Barrack gonna take the mountain's head back to his castle, or is he gonna bring it here and mount it above the gates here?" And Septa was like, "That is not a lady question. Like, be better. You're being like your sister or something like that." So Arya asks like what Gregor did, and Sansa tells him, but then that kind of pisses Arya off because she thinks that there's other people that did worse shit.
Everyone that's done something to her.
Yeah,
seriously.
She's like pissed at Jaime. She's like, Jaime killed Jory, and the mountain killed Micah, or the Hound killed Micah. Like, what the fuck? What's going to happen to them?
Yeah, why didn't they get their heads cut off?
Well, no, I think that actually makes more sense personally.
Because
it's
it's two Starks. Or one's kind of a Stark, not really a Stark.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like these are things that are happening right around the king, and like somebody should have to pay. And then, I mean, I guess I'm not saying that this small town's being destroyed is not bad and worth sending out an army, but
I think if the two things Arya brings up had happened by other people who like kind of weren't directly in the king's protection, they would have been like punished, right? And that's kind of what Sansa says.
I think that's the point. Yeah.
She's like the Hound is Joffrey's sworn shield. Like he's not going to get in trouble, and it's like a good point, but it's not fair to Arya's point. But Sansa has like what Sansa says is right. She's not getting in trouble. You're the fucking king.
That's what Arya's saying. Is there's right and wrong beyond
who gets punished. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like there's a sense of right and wrong, like overall, like like a universal right and wrong, and then there's a right and wrong, like in terms of like the law and the king's eyes, and
who's in power.
Exactly.
And then she calls her to be a liar. This is where things get juicy between the two of them, man.
Literally.
Because Sansa says Micah attacked Joffrey. Like he got what was coming to him.
Your butcher's boy attacked the prince.
That's pretty fucked up.
Which is fucked up because Sansa knows it's not true, right? Like Sansa was there, right? Like even in front of the king, she didn't say that. Like she held her tongue when Robert asked her what happened. She didn't say that.
So I don't remember. There definitely is a thing where if you tell yourself a lie enough, you eventually believe it, right? But no, that's really fucked up, and that's why Arya was so pissed off, obviously.
Yeah.
But what great aim, just fucking pegging her in the fucking forehead.
Right in the middle of the head.
Well, hold on. So before that, so Arya calls her a liar, and Sansa's like, you can call me a liar all you want, because one day you're going to have to call me your grace once I'm the queen. So then Arya chucks this blood orange, which is like the juice of a blood orange. It's like, it looks like fucking blood. Yeah. Hits Sansa right in the face, falls all over her ivory. We hear later it's an ivory dress. And Sansa's like, or Arya's like, you have some juice on your face, your grace. Fuck you.
Great. Get fucked.
So Sansa snaps back. She's like, you're the worst. I should have killed you instead of Lady. Which is like super fucked up thing to say. Like they should have killed you instead of the dog. Like Jesus.
Come on. Nah, a dire wolf, not a dog.
Whatever. Same. Like it hits the same, right? To somebody nowadays. Like they should have killed you instead of my pet.
So you would take Luke? You take me over Luke?
Yeah, for sure. Luke stays around.
Right.
What about your brother over Luke?
Jared doesn't contribute to society.
How does Luke contribute to society?
Luke licks my wiener.
Luke sucks.
He's taking the job of some poor woman.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So Septa sends them both to their room. Sansa goes to her room, throws her dress in the fire, but there's no fire, just in the ashes. And then like goes in bed, right? And she falls asleep crying.
Yeah.
She's woken up by Septa Mordain. When she first wakes up, it's by Septa Mordain. She's like waking up from a wolf dream, basically.
She was dreaming about
a dream of wolves. And,
it was like her and Lady running through a field or something like that, right?
Yeah, and as she woke up, she was like trying to remember it, and it just fading away.
She like thought Lady was like in the room, right? Like, she even like says something right? Or no?
Lady? Yeah, she was like, lady?
Yeah.
For a moment, it was as if the direwolf was there in the room, looking at her with those golden eyes, sad and knowing.
Yeah.
She had been dreaming.
I wonder if it's like in her head because she just kind of like
mentioned
Arya. Yeah.
Probably. I mean, yeah, but I assume that she's probably not over it in general.
Well, yes,
obviously.
I mean, that's again, like they've only been here about 3 months, so that happened like 3 months ago. It's pretty rough. So yeah, so then Septa takes them to see Ned. Like that was the whole point. It's like go to your room, and then when your father is ready for you, you have to talk to him or whatever. So she takes Sansa in, and Ned's looking at a big book. And Sansa sits down to him, and then Septa goes to get Arya.
Is it the book? Is it the book of the history of the...
I assume so, because we only ever hear really one book Ned looks at.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically Arya comes in, and Sansa immediately is like, Arya's the worst, blah, blah, blah. She's just jealous and everything. And Arya, like, apologizes, and it kind of takes Sansa back a bit. She's like, I apologize, and I plead my sister's forgiveness or something.
And I'll make her a new
totally
dress.
Unbelievable.
I'll clean your dress. And then she says, no, you can't. And she's like, well, I'll make you a new one.
Yeah.
Which is just blasphemy.
And we already heard in the first chapter.
Can't do that.
Just imagine being Ned just sitting there hearing these two little girls just bicker back and forth.
Exactly. So then he cuts him off. He's like, I didn't come here to talk about fucking dresses. He's like, you're both going back to Winterfell. And neither of them want to. Arya kind of comes around on it.
Well,
So-
the only reason she wants to is because Sirio's going with
She
her.
says, yeah, they said like, okay, we'll ask if Syrio can come. So, Sansa starts talking about how she loved King's Landing. The tourney was the most magical time of her life. So many more things she wanted to see. Sansa says, like, send Arya away. I'll be good. I'll be as good as the queen. And Ned says he's not sending them away for misbehaving. He's sending them away for their safety. And then I want to read this quote here.
Well, real quick, right before, right after she says the queen, Ned's like, ugh.
Yeah.
I forget what he does. He like
His
makes
mouth
a
twitched
face.
strangely. That's what it says. Father's mouth twitched strangely.
I didn't catch that. That's funny.
Yeah, no, that's why I said that before. Like, you can tell that he doesn't give a shit about Joffrey and that the queen and all them anymore.
Yeah. So I want to read this quote here.
Arya was chewing at her lip in that disgusting way she had.
Can we take Syrio back with us?
Who cares about your stupid dancing master?
Sansa flared.
Father, I just now remembered. I can't go away. I have to marry Prince Joffrey.
She tried to smile bravely for him.
I love him, Father. I truly do. I love him as much as Queen Nerys loved Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight, as much as Jonquil loved Sir Florian. I want to be his queen and have his babies.
Sweet one,
Her father said gently.
listen to me. When you're old enough, I will make you a match with a high lord who's worthy of you. Someone brave and gentle and strong. This match with Joffrey was a terrible mistake. That boy is no Prince Aemon. You must believe me.
He is.
Sansa insisted.
I don't want someone brave and gentle. I want him. We'll be ever so happy, just like in the songs. You'll see. I'll give him a son with golden hair, and one day he'll be the king of all the realm, the greatest king there ever was, as brave as the wolf and as proud as the lion.
Arya made a face.
Not if Joffrey's his father.
She said.
He's a lion, a craven, and anyhow, he's a stag, not a lion.
Sansa felt tears in her eyes.
He is not. He's not a bit like that old drunken king.
She screamed at her sister, forgetting herself in her grief. Father looked at her strangely.
Gods,
He swore softly.
out of the mouths of babes.
He shouted for Septa Mordain. To the girls he said,
I am looking for a fast trading galley to take you home. These days the sea is safer than the King's Road. You will sail as soon as I can find a proper ship, with Septa Mordain and a complement of guards. And yes, with Syrio Forel, if he agrees to enter my service. But say nothing of this. It's better if no one knows of our plans. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Bam.
So, to go back to predictions, I was close. I said he was going to be looking for a way out for himself, but I didn't pick that he was going to be sending his kids out. I remember saying that, and it was, I think it was actually supposed to be the last Ned chapter that I had predicted that, but so I was
close
off.
enough.
I'm not saying I was right, but I knew he was. Yeah, I mean, he was still trying to clear out of the city. He's over it. But yeah, I mean, he's like the wedding's off. I mean, he's really.
He's pulling out. He's pulling out of Dodge.
I mean, he has to though. Like, what's the option? Like, Sansa doesn't know that. Well, maybe she does. What happened with Tyrion and whatnot, but
I assume
like,
she does.
like these families are now at war, essentially. How are you gonna marry him, even if he was a good dude?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand her naivety.
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 Nativity.
Nativity scene. But that's what I was saying before, though, is that she's caught up in this fairy tale life. She doesn't care about this other shit. What I was saying is these families are at war. How are they going to get married?
Yeah.
Like, that's over. Like, it has to be.
And she doesn't realize it.
But she's more concerned with the fairy. And I'm not saying she's wrong. She's a little girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha.
She's 11 years old.
Arya's kind of hyped, though, about this. Because he says, all right, yeah, we'll try and bring Syria.
Yeah, Rob and Bran's there, and Old Man. Everybody's there. Fuck yeah.
Oh, she said
you marry Hodor.
I forgot she said that in this chapter. I started taking notes in the next chapter, too, and I thought Arya said that then. But, yeah, she's excited to see everybody, even Hodor, even the old stupid stable boy. Yeah, so that basically says you should marry Hodor. You're dumb and ugly just like him, and then that's the end of the show.
And Harry.
Yeah, dumb, ugly, and Harry. Yeah.
Slams the door.
All right, Kyle, any predictions for this one?
So it's gonna be tough to get out of there. I mean, I guess my hope is that they do. I don't really have a prediction. I can see this going multiple different directions, I guess. But
what direction do you see it going?
Well, I mean, there's the one that they can't get out. There's the other that they would have to go up the King's Road without the boats. Like, he can't find a fast trading ship, so they have to go on the road. And then also the other option is that they go back on the boat, as he said. Right? And I mean, there's more, like, maybe they go back on the boat without Syria. Maybe they go back on the boat without, like that kind of shit. But so I think those are the three main. If
you have to make a prediction,
forks.
What you think is
what's your prediction, Kyle?
You said you're hoping the boat, but what's your prediction?
So I mean, just the way this book goes, and like the not the dumb shit that has to happen, but like conflict is very common in this book.
So hold on, let me be more pointed. You know something's going to happen to Ned.
I know he's going to die at the end. Yeah.
Do they get out before that? And by boat or by road?
Yeah, they get out before that. Why not? We'll be bold. Fuck it.
By sea or by road?
But they have to go on the road. That's what I was getting at before when I was saying like conflict and all that stuff. I think it's
too easy if they could just take the ship home.
Yeah.
Chapters in Winterfell. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my opinion. But obviously, who knows?
All right. Anything else to talk about in this chapter?
I mean, I guess we could talk about the fight that's about to happen with the mountain.
So the thing is, George R. R. Martin does not put in random chapters from people who don't get like perspectives just to show you action, right? So I'm basically saying like we don't have a barrack, we don't have a mountain perspective unless somebody that we have a perspective from goes over there and gets involved in that. We're going to hear news about it. We're not going to see what actually happens.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we only hear news, sadly.
But I mean, so at the same time, though, I don't know who he puts in chapters about. Like, is there ever a Littlefinger chapter? Or is there ever?
You kind of know by who we've read already.
They change a book when books change. Right, so we've had everybody that's going to ever be in Game of Thrones.
That's not true.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The first Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Not
book.
The first Game of Thrones. The only Game of Thrones.
The only book, the Game of Thrones. Yeah. Okay. So I guess another quick prediction: do you think they get out before Robert gets back? And who gets the White Heart?
Do they?
Do they, or who does if they do?
Who's out there?
I feel like it would be a fucking like if you don't let Robert kill this legendary deer. I mean, maybe he'd be like, "Hey, son, like you take the shot." That would be the only way I would see.
I don't even know. I don't even know if he would do that. We hear Renly, Barristan, Robert, Joffrey, Sandor, Balon, Swan had all gone hunting.
Right. I feel like
and we know Jon Royce is hunting too.
You've got to let the king shoot it. Like,
I think there's three people there that probably wouldn't. That's all I have to say. I don't know who gets it. I'm not gonna make. That's like I roll the dice.
I don't know. I think if Renly took this, like he's Robert's brother, right? Like,
no, I'm saying Joffrey. I'm saying. Isn't Jaime there or no? No, Jamie's at the Castle Rock.
Jaime went west. He's scared.
Tyrion's there, I think.
No.
What?
Tyrion's
No,
in
no,
the
no.
fucking.
What am I thinking? Yeah,
Fucking
Tyrion's,
villains.
Tyrion's in
Yeah.
jail. I'm an idiot.
No,
He's
he's
not in
not.
jail.
He's
He's fucking
jail.
on
He
the
just met the
mountain road with the
Klansmen.
fucking clans. Come on, Chloe.
What book are you
He
reading?
last
got out of
chapter.
jail. Shut up. He got out of jail. He just got out of jail.
We read with him talking to the Klansmen last chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess back to the original. Did they get out before Robert gets back?
I don't know if it matters. Like, I guess that's my problem is I don't.
So I guess my question is Robert gonna be cool with that? With Ned just sending his family away? Because he wasn't cool with Ned going home, and Robert was the one who brought up the idea of Sansa marrying Joffrey.
Yeah, like they're betrothed. and
That's
he's sending the
why
betrothed
I'm
away.
asking this. I don't know if this would cause any conflict between those two.
It might, but I think Ned has a way out of that, especially with all the like what I was saying before. Like,
There's going to be a war between our families.
this can't be done. Yeah, it can't happen. So I don't know. I mean, he's like, he might get a little mad, but we might get a little bit of next chapter. We might get Ned explaining, like, look, man, they had to go. Like, shit's about to get hot.
Okay.
They need to be together.
All right, that works for me.
It was a good episode, brother. Thank you for your input. Can't wait to show you some spoilers in the next chapter, brother.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
See you, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle.
Good night, guys.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
See you later, Kyle. It was great hanging out. Now
What
onto
an
the,
idiot!
and now onto the spoilers section of Sansa 3. Hey guys, it sounds like we have some hot takes.
Kyle, I don't know if this is that hot. Kyle's a moron.
I told you
don't
he
know,
wasn't.
man.
That's a
gonna-
cold
I
take.
told you.
After I
knew
read
this
the
was gonna
chapter
happen.
today, I was like, nah, there's no chance he's getting it. It's too subtle. He's like,
I blame it on Glow. I blame it on Glow's poor reading in that quote. You should have been like, gods from the mouth of babes.
Well, I think he thinks it's blasphemy to talk about the king that way. So I think Kyle thinks that
okay.
Ned thinks.
I don't know. I mean, come on, bro.
That's how if you're reading through it quickly, you don't understand the whole backstory. That's probably what it is. Because Sansa even says like she couldn't contain herself or something like that.
I see that. I don't know. I think he fucking should have got it here.
Well, he'll get it on the next chapter.
He'll definitely get on the next chapter, which is
Hopefully.
where Ned confronts Cersei about this.
What if he still
So-
doesn't know?
No, he will.
Like, he usually throws on a nice, like, Inspector Gadget kind of hat to think about.
Especially when we reread stuff.
Yeah, when we read a quote, like, hey, why are we reading this quote? Not just to show, like, Arya Arya doesn't really say anything. Like, it's a straight jab at who Joffrey is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised. Any listeners definitely give us a couple comments. Like, did you think he was going to get it here? Or, dude, I could have swore he would have got it here. I can't wait till next chapter when I can call him an idiot to his face for not getting it here. And I bet you he's going to say what Glow said, that he thought it was about the king.
Yeah.
So other spoiler stuff, we kind of talked about with Colin. I don't know if I have anything more to say about it. Maybe you guys do. When Littlefinger says that's not why I would have sent Sir Loras. Did you guys think anything of that?
I think he was just saying, in Ned's shoes, I would have sent Sir Loras for this reason. And basically what Varys said the last.
Yeah, I was thinking
Last
it was
chapter.
Varys too. I thought there was something shifty up to it.
Yeah,
But
I kind of
maybe, but I
think,
don't know.
like, hey, like, what if, like, this promising young knight of a really important family is, like, another wrench in the cog? Like, he could have meant something else by it. But, yeah, I think you're right. It's, like, more of an ally type of deal. But then again, it's not like Littlefinger's really rooting for Ned to get allies. Why would he
But
want...
he's still saying, like, in his position, I would have done this. It's like playing chess. Hey, Jeff.
No, Littlefinger says that's not why I would do it.
I don't think.
So it could be a completely different reason than why Ned would do it, because he didn't say. He says that's not why I would do it.
Yeah, but the whole conversation beforehand is how he's making mistakes with his decisions, and it deserves questioning.
But that-
and he's
that
like, all right,
doesn't mean-
what do you think he should have done, and
that
why?
doesn't imply that
And he's like-
Littlefinger's talking strictly about in Ned's point of view. Like, we know Littlefinger. He could be talking about, like, oh no, I'm worried about my schemes here. Like,
So I don't think Littlefinger is anti-Ned yet, right? Like
he's not pro Ned. He's using him.
no, there's a conversation he has with Ned later where, like, after all this shit starts going down, where he says, like, if you try and take the throne, I'll help you. But Ned says, like, oh, I'm not going to do it that way. Like, I don't want to do it that way. And then later he kind of says, like, okay, well, I'll help you anyway. And then that's when he backturns. But I think there is a conversation later where he, like, definitely extends Ned and Olive Branch. It was like, I will help you take this fucking throne right now, but you got to do X, Y, Z. And Ned's like, I won't do X, Y, but I realize that you're the one that commands the gold cloaks because you pay them. And I want you on my side. And Littlefinger's like, okay, but then when the time comes, he switches sides. But I think there is a time where, because Littlefinger says, like, seat Joffrey on the throne,
Sure,
do something else.
Littlefinger says that, but can we really just like take his word?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what he says, and I guess we can talk about it more when we get there. But I don't think my point is I don't think Littlefinger at this point knows that he's going to choose Lannisters over Ned in the end.
No, I don't.
I think he knows
either.
it's going to come to a heat. I think he knows it's going to come to a heat.
But I think just to say that Littlefinger has one, I think it's really stupid to say Littlefinger has just one motive. Like, oh, like he's using every possible outcome. Like, I know that's a show line, but oh, if Sir Loras dies, like what else could be good for me? Like, sure, you know, or he could be our ally, or he could be dead and removed from the equation, so I don't have to worry about him coming to kill me.
I think Loras dying, Ned sending Loras and Loras dying would be the best thing for Ned. Because that gets the Tyrells on his side, right? That gets the Tyrells on his side more than Loras winning. Because if Loras dies and Ned sent him,
I don't know. You gave him great honor by sending him.
True, but I don't think that's enough to, like, get the Tyrells on your side. But if you send him and he dies at the hands of a Lannister bannerman, I think all of a sudden Tyrells are anti-Lannisters in this war, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Agreed.
Which, I mean, they kind of do anyway, but they end up siding for Renly instead of for Ned. The only other thing I had for this one, besides the obvious Sansa thing at the end, was the thing with Lady.
I was really hold on before that, because I know Nelson now doesn't know much about it. I was really hoping the two Dornishmen would mean a lot more. Like, I thought they were spies for the Martells.
Yeah, I'm not sure because we never hear of anything later in any of the Dornish
Don't some
chapters.
Dornishmen become Knights of the Kingsguard, or like we get what do we get? Doran or Oberyn becomes a part of the council.
Oberyn gets a seat on the council, and
I know it's later on, but I was just thinking, like, oh, two Dornishmen this early on in the story, like maybe this is the seed of the Martells, like trying to figure some shit out. That's what I was hoping for, but I understand that if we don't know.
No, I get you, because, like, Doran is definitely a guy who likes information. Like, he's kind of like a Tywin or a Littlefinger more than like a Robert, right? He's more steamy than he is direct conflict. But we later in the Dorne chapters, we really don't hear that he has any people in King's Landing. And in fact, he sends, I'm not sure which one it is, but he sends one of the Sand Snakes to become part of the faith to try and get insight. I think later he sends two Sand Snakes to King's Landing to try and get ears in King's Landing because he doesn't have any. The only Dornish men we've heard of up to this point are Angai, and I don't remember of hearing of any in the King's service after this. But they might be. They might be notable Dornish men that I am forgetting about. But yeah, I don't remember anything. Oh, the other thing that I don't even know if we talked about in the non-spoiler section was Yoren came and he got his pick of the dungeons.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We never mentioned what it was.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, I forgot. You said the Dornish.
Does he take anybody of note on this trip? I mean, other
than Haga, Biter, and Rorg, Biter, and Jaqen, who are all huge characters.
Right.
Rorg and Biter.
They're in like the takeover of Crasher's Keep, right?
No. What? Biter's the one that
Biter bites Brienne's face. I don't remember what Rorg does.
I think Rorg might be the one.
These guys don't make it north, right? They don't become members of. No.
It's like in the fourth book though that they die.
Biter dies in the fourth one. Rorg was Rorg one of the ones that Brienne kills at the Whispers when she goes with old Dick Crab out to the Whispers to try and find Dantos and Sansa out there. She kills 3 people there. Shagwell. I forget who else she kills. Rorg might be one of them. But yeah, that's what he gets them out of the dungeons. I guess we can mention the next one. So besides that, the lady thing with Sansa. So
is this like the only real lady dream we get?
I don't remember many more, but the thing is, like, it can't be a wolf dream. It can't be like Glow said wolf.
Lady's dead.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so like, So here's a quote. Sansa sat up. "Lady," she whispered. For a moment, it was as if the direwolf was there in the room, looking at her with those golden eyes, sad and knowing. She had been dreaming, she realized. Lady was with her. They were running together, and trying to remember was trying to catch rain with her fingers. The dream faded. Lady was dead again. So I think this is kind of like we hear when Orell dies. He's in the eagle, right? And then when Varamir tries to warg the eagle, he can sense Orell's still in there. It has to work the other way too, right? Where if the animal part of the warg connection dies, they kind of live on in the girl.
So you don't think this has to do with the Maesters?
What do you mean?
I just feel like a dream that couldn't be a warg dream, or you do think it's a warg dream still, even though.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like Lady lives inside her now, kind of still always, and it's kind of like tapping into that.
I thought you were gonna go into like some Maester prophecy, or not a prophecy, but like some Maester.
Normally, the dream ones that, unless they like seem extremely prophetic, like in the wording of them, like most of the time, I don't think much of dreams unless they're connected somehow to like a weirwood or moonlight.
Yeah, because there was no moonlight. It was during the midday. So I think, like
could
you
have been
said,
a day moon. You never know that.
Day moon.
Happen all the time.
Champion of the night moon.
Never heard that song.
What? That's from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I've only seen like the first season or so.
Yeah, it's a good sode.
That's all I have for this one. Do you guys have anything else?
Other than Kyle being an idiot and me calling it, no.
Did you guys both think he wouldn't get it last chapter?
At
the end of the last one?
I thought he was going to get it. I might have doubted it towards the end, but after reading it, I was like, nah, he's not going to get it.
I'm excited for the next one. Next chapter is a really good one. I started taking notes on it already. There's a lot of stuff, not a lot of spoiler stuff to talk about, but there's a lot of stuff that they meant just like one line drops that become like things that become huge.
I mean, just wait till Kyle actually understands that Joffrey is a bastard. That changes almost everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, once he figures it out, that conversation's gonna take a half hour.
He's definitely gonna figure it out. He like Ned talks to Cersei and says like,
right, Ned's gonna spoon feed it to him, but so he's gonna find out next. I'm saying like next podcast we have a lot to talk about because we get to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. Another
question is if he did pick up on it, would we have told him like, wow, dude, like great pickup, like we're gonna talk, we'll find that out next chapter, but
no, I would have been like, you should have got it. Good.
Okay.
Like I thought you were gonna get it here.
No,
He's never even mentioned the thought of it.
No.
Which is mind blowing.
It was. I was glad that after we read that quote, he immediately. I don't remember what he said, but he said something.
Yeah, he brought up something totally different.
Totally different right away, so I didn't have to ask him any questions about it, because otherwise I would have just been like, "What do you think about this quote?"
Yeah, what did he say? I don't remember.
He said like she's still trapped in that fairy tale ending.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew when he said that the most important part of this chapter was how Beric was leaving. Oh my god. What the fuck are you thinking? That was like a second long.
That's why I asked him at the beginning, because I knew if he figured this out, he would have told us immediately, I think. So I was like, it was hard to keep. It was hard keeping a straight face anyway. It's like knowing that he didn't know. It was fucking hard.
And then Glow is like, "Oh, Tyrion's out west already."
Oh
like,
no, I was being stupid. I was thinking back when they were at Winterfell and went out hunting. Tyrion was with them. Yeah. So one quick question before we sign off here. They're talking about Arya and Syrio and all the training. I forget 2 through 4. Like I haven't read it since college. How good at sword fighting was she throughout that process?
Not that great.
Yeah, she's very average right now. I don't even know.
I think like the only people she kills is the butcher boy, or not the butcher boy, like the stable boy when she goes to escape. And then I think she stabs.
What's his name in the throat when he falls?
Yeah, whoever takes. Oh no.
That's way late though. I mean, she's with the Hound.
Yeah, the dude's on the ground hurt. Like it's not like she's fighting, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like whoever. When
I don't think we actually ever get her in like a sword fight.
No, never. Not even like in Bravos.
Yeah, like come on, George, give us a little something there.
Well,
see
no,
how-
I don't think Arya's gonna be like a sword fighter. She's gonna be like sneaky. Like
Just
I don't
a
think it's gonna
sneaky
be like the
assassin.
show. Like she's not gonna be running.
She's been there for 3 months. She doesn't do fucking any sword fighting. I know she's not gonna be a pro at it after 3 months, but come on.
No, I mean I'm not saying she's not gonna
practicing.
be good at it. I'm not saying she's not gonna be good at it. I'm saying that's not like she's gonna be a fucking assassin, like going around slipping drops into people's drinks and like killing them in like
Poisons
backdoor
the-
I
alleys.
know,
Yeah.
but
Like,
I'm
girl.
just mad at George for giving her 3 months of training and never using it.
Like even in the show, like in season 8 when she's like fighting zombies with like a double-sided spear that breaks apart. Like I don't think that shit's gonna happen. Like she's like an assassin.
I mean,
she
she
kills
had
like
that
one
spear
person.
for like one episode too.
Like I could see her killing like Walder Frey and all them, but like I don't know. Like the fight with her and Brienne in the show, while it's fucking awesome, that's not who she is in the book. She's not like, hey, let's fucking sword fight. I'm a good sword fighter. You're a good sword fighter. I think even after she does all her
There's a
training
lot
in
of books
Bravos,
yet.
there's a lot of books to
yet.
come. But I think even after she does all her training in Bravos, they're not focused on teaching her sword fighting.
Well, yeah,
Like, they're
they
focused on
fight with like a
teaching her
stick,
how to-
don't they?
How to control the muscles in her face. Like they don't even do that in the books. They just teach her how to
I
control
thought
the
they
muscles
did.
in
I
her
thought
face.
they did play. I guess that's like the Lion game almost. They just like slap each other.
Yeah,
They're not
in
really
the-
fighting.
Yeah.
In the actual house, all they teach her about is like kind of like ethical stuff or like their religion and how to control the muscles in her face and
So
like
you
stuff
can
about
lie
shape
for the most
shifting.
part.
They send her to people in Bravos to teach her other stuff. They send her to a cut purse to teach her how to steal. They send her to somebody who's good with a finger knife to teach her how to conceal a knife in her hand. They teach her to somebody who can teach her Bravo scene. Like they send her to other places to learn skills that she needs from people who are experts in those skills. But they don't send her to any sword fighters.
Is that a part of her being like the cat of the canals and shit like that? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
exactly. Like so they never say that it's those people work for the House of Black and White. But she says like, oh, I learned this skill from this person, this skill from this person, this skill from
Right.
this person,
I
and it's
guess
like kind
it's
of
been a while,
assumed.
too.
Yeah, and it's kind of assumed that the House of Black and White, not maybe like they're not members of the House of Black and White, but they understand that if they send this girl here, she'll learn these things, or they send this girl here, she'll learn these things. And then in the Winds of Winter, it starts off with her working in that playhouse, kind of like in the show. There's that play going on. She
Yeah.
really in the book, she like kind of just like looks at like watches it from the outside. But in the show, she
I
like, kind of
still
watches
haven't
the
read
play
that
from the
chapter
outside.
yet. I don't think
Yeah.
you sent it to me actually.
I'm not reading that bullshit.
In
I'm
the
waiting for the book.
I'm just saying in the show, she watches the play from the outside. In the show, she's a part of the play, and she's literally learning how to act from the actors.
It makes
It's
sense.
It's like thought that the playhouse is owned by the House of Black and White, and they send everyone there to learn how to be a better actor, right? Because that's what they fucking do. So the main point, I don't think she's going to be nearly as proficient at like hand-to-hand combat, one-on-one combat as she is in the books. I think it's going to be way more. Even Darren, right? She kills Darren, the guy from
She
The Night's
sneaks up
Watch.
behind
Yeah.
him and like
She
pushes him.
sneaks up behind him and pushes him into the. Yeah, we don't even know if she stabs him at all. She just pushes him into the canal.
I mean, he can swim. Maybe he can't.
Yeah, maybe she stabbed him. I don't remember, but
Shadow saddled him.
I mean, is the grown ass man just gonna fall into the water and die?
I mean, if you're wearing mail, yeah. But I doubt he's wearing mail in Bravos. That would be my argument. Yeah, I'm excited for the next chapter. Next chapter is gonna be real good. Kyle's gonna have a big holy fuck moment.
Hopefully.
But I don't have anything else for this chapter really.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much. I don't think like that's the big thing. And I guess if you didn't pick it up, like there was no big thing for you.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk about in the next chapter, aside from the Joffrey stuff. And again,
Yeah,
I don't think
didn't
we're gonna
read
get
ahead.
I don't think we're gonna get too deep into any of it. But there's just like a lot of things that kind of like start laying groundwork for like later on.
All right, that's all we have for this episode for Sansa 3. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and follow on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud,
Right into
iHeartRadio.
Twitter.
Right into Twitter.
$5.
Get some
Tweet at
comments
us.
going. If you get a comment, we'll bring you up on the next episode that we got lined up. And yeah, if you think Kyle's stupid, like and subscribe.
All right, thanks guys.
All right.
We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.